I am the Duke of Deadfall. If you like medieval fantasy storytelling and NFTs, then for the next 20 minutes, your ass is mine. Hidden somewhere in this video is this picture. This is the Fat Sorcerer from our first story. If you find it first, comment where it is, and you will not only receive this unique character as an NFT, but you will be knighted into the Deadfall knighthood. Follow me on Twitter for more secrets and surprises. Links in the description. Now for the story of Cora the Brave, Eric the Hammer, and Guy the Handsome, Part 2. If you haven't listened to Part 1 yet, links also in the description. Listen to that part first. Now for our story. Cora said to Sir Eric, "The Duke is a liar and an extremely cruel man. There are dark things happening in Norchester. Do not go to the silver mines under any circumstances. They will take you inside, and there you will be assassinated. You and Sir Guy. Your deaths will be blamed on the zombies." I overheard the Duke speaking to the sheriff. "Please, my lord, heed my words and get word to the king of our plight here. We can't leave our homes or work our fields while the Duke uses the zombie scare as cover for some great evil." The astonished knight stared in disbelief. "Why would the Duke do this? I saw 2 zombies being killed myself today." "What you saw was theater. Those were not zombies, my lord. They were poor innocent fools that you killed," she replied. "The Duke has their tongues removed so they cannot speak or cry for mercy. They are roughened up and tortured to make them look like undead, but they are citizens or soldiers who question the Duke. I've personally seen the setup for this. They do the same to scare the peasants into submission. As for the reason why, the Duke is planning to secede from the realm. He eventually wants the crown of Panamore for himself. The silver production has not halted. He has used the silver from the mines to hire thousands of mercenaries from the foreign east and giants from Candaria. The plague rumor is used as a way to keep information from leaving Norchester and gaining absolute political control over this region and silence any dissident voices. There have never been undead here, as far as we know, but it has all been a clever ruse and deception. I have burned some of the bodies myself. My lord, you have to pretend that everything is normal and flee Norchester when the opportunity presents itself. Leave for Panamore as soon as possible and warn King Leodoric." "I have brought proof of this, my lord." She removed a piece of parchment from her tunic. "Here is a letter to the king that is signed by many prominent nobles and merchants. The king knows some of them by name. They have added their seals to the document. They are risking everything, including their families' lives, with this letter." Sir Eric inspected the document and saw many seals of smaller nobles and prominent families. It was hard to dispute this. The massive military presence suddenly made sense to him. You don't need thousands of armored knights, and even giants, to protect against zombie sickness. This had nothing to do with the disease, but rather it was a political move. "Cora," said Eric, "if it is as you say and the Duke plans to murder us, why not just do it in the countryside?" "I only tell you what I heard him discuss with the sheriff, John Peter. It seems that he has some kind of plan for you at the mines, to give you the opportunity to join him in his quest for power. If you do not agree, He will use you in some dark spell. There is power in the blood of a knight, and he wants to use you as some kind of sacrifice. The Duke is a sorcerer, and your blood will be spilt. Mark my words, my lord. If they catch you here now with this document, you are a dead woman, replied the knight. Return tomorrow night, and let me think of a plan. I am sorry to say this, girl, but I may need more of your help, and place you in further peril and risk. I can only imagine we will need a ship, and a fast one. I understand, my lord. It is worth the risk. I have friends near the docks that could help us, wealthy merchants with fast ships. We have suffered greatly under Duke Pierre. I will do all in my power to help you. I will return tomorrow. I know how to move through the castle unseen. Oh, we are so grateful that you have come. May the gods protect you, dear knight. She hugged him and disappeared into the dark of the castle. The following morning they went on another zombie patrol. Sir Eric was still shaken by the information Cora had given him in the night before. He shuddered thinking of the poor tortured souls they murdered in cold blood, thinking they were undead. And now what would he do if they encountered more alleged zombies? What other horrors was Duke Pierre inflicting on his people? They had to get the incriminating letter to the king. Eric subconsciously touched the spot on his chest where he had hidden the letter. How could they leave Norchester unnoticed before they were taken to the mines and forced to either become traitors themselves or get butchered? There were soldiers everywhere, and the sheriff, Sir John Peter, basically had eyes on them every waking hour. Cora, he whispered to himself. The beautiful girl that reminded him so much of his own lost wife was the key to their escape. The fast ship would be absolutely essential to outrun whatever the Duke would send after them. Cora would have to come with them. For some reason, this thought warmed the knight's heart. Thankfully, they did not find any zombies on patrol that day, and Sir Eric had a couple of moments alone with Sir Guy to explain the peril they were in and the lies of Duke Pierre. Sir Guy was astonished, but trusted his friend more than he would trust his own brother. They had faced death together many times before, and this situation did not scare him. We could probably cut our way through these spineless traitors and go find a ship at once, the handsome knight whispered. We need caution here, friend. If we fail, the letter will not reach the king in time, and the people of Norchester suffer even more under this corrupt traitor, Sir Eric replied. As evening fell, the sheriff, John Peter, came to inform them that the Duke had hastened their trip to the silver mines. They would leave for the mines at dusk the following day. Sir Eric knew the escape would have to be made tonight at all costs. Cora already knew of this development and came to Sir Eric again as they settled in to sleep. I was expecting you, girl. Sir, the ship is arranged. We need to hasten your escape. A soldier will lead you two out of the castle at 3 tolls of the bell, and will have horses ready for you and Sir Guy outside. The just still have friends within this place. Do you remember how to get to the docks? I do. But you have to come with us, woman. The Duke's wrath will fall upon you for helping us escape. I insist that you join us, so I can protect you. Cora blushed. She was speaking in a rushed, anxious whisper. Very well, sir. I will meet you at the ship. I have made my peace with this dark place, and I thank you for your chivalry and honor. I have sent someone who has instructed Sir Guy on the escape plan. There will be a small torchlight, barely visible to the eyes, at the docks. Follow that. She squeezed the massive hands of the Hammer of the Gods and silently disappeared into the dark castle. At 3 bells in the morning, the Hammer and Sir Guy were silently led out of the castle by a young hooded soldier. They were fully battle ready, weapons drawn, moving as quietly as possible, as to not let their armor set off possible alarms by making clinking or scraping sounds. They had to fully trust their young guide, for they knew nothing of the castle defense patrols or guards. The young soldier led them through the castle's secret escape gate, where 2 horses were tied to a bush. I can only take you this far, my lords. May the gods speed. Remember my name and have mercy when you come back with the king. My name is Riley. Now ride like hell. They arrived at the docks with the horses sweating. They noticed a torchlight close to one of the larger piers at a merchant's warehouse. As they galloped closer, they could see a medium-sized merchant ship. The hooves of the horses pattered on the wooden pier. Behind them, something started to stir. 20 men-at-arms started to run up the pier. It was the ship or death. "Untie the boat!" shouted Sir Guy. When they got to the vessel, they realized something was wrong. Duke Pierre of Norchester was waiting for them on the boat, with the sheriff and another dozen knights standing on the deck. "Just in time for the feast, my lords. Step on board." The Hammer of the Gods roared and started to lift his hammer, but the Norchester knights all around him pushed blades against his and Sir Guy's throats. They had dropped their weapons on the ship's deck. "He's a traitor," said the Hammer. "He plans to secede Norchester from the kingdom, and probably even an attack on Panamore and the king himself." Sir Eric tried to appeal to the knights of Norchester. The sheriff laughed. "We know, Hammer. It is barely a secret on this island. That is why no ship can leave here until we are ready to attack. Peasants can barely leave their houses. Panamore is not prepared for the hell we are bringing." As their eyes became accustomed to the dim light of the torches, they could make out that Duke Pierre had something dangling at his side. "Where is Cora?" shouted the Hammer. "Her treason cost her her pretty little head," the Duke said. He lifted Cora's head by her hair for the knight to see. The Hammer screamed. "You will come to a place where your eyes will be open, and you will see that there is no right or wrong, only the strong and the weak, the predator and the prey. Leodric is a weak king. My magic will soon be strong enough to take Norchester, and you are right, Hammer. Eventually I'll take his crown from him. It is inevitable. Things have been set in motion with blood magic that cannot be undone, and more of the proper blood sacrifices will soon follow. I could have had you murdered in your beds, but I brought you here for a demonstration of my powers. You will decide then if you will join me in my quest, or if you will become a sacrifice yourself tonight, like Cora. You are here to witness a sacrifice to Levia Rex, the dark serpent goddess of the sea. She will aid us in our fight against Panamore." The Duke walked to the side of the boat and held Cora's beautiful head over the water. The blood from her pale neck dripped into the sea. Everyone stood stunned in silence. The ship rocked as the Duke started to mutter incantations in a forbidden language. As the Duke dropped her head into the sea, Sir Eric fell to his knees in a cry of anguish. Cries of fear could be heard as some of the knights tried to steady themselves on anything they could grab as the ship started rocking even more violently. A massive sea serpent rose 40 feet up from the water surface, directly where Cora's head was dropped. "Behold the living goddess Leviah! Have you ever laid eyes on something so beautiful?" The Duke shouted in a mania. The serpent was as thick as a horse's body, with tiny green eyes. Its head was as big as a wheelbarrow. Its skin glowed a fluorescent green. It hissed with the sound of 1,000 vipers. "Swear fealty to me now as your king, and your lives will be spared. I can give you back your lost wife, Sir Eric. If you follow me, we can take Penamore and rule as gods among men." "Can you give me back my lost wife?" Eric asked, seemingly astonished. "Do not believe his lies, Eric," shouted Sir Guy. The Duke replied, "I can in good time, when I rise to power and my magic is strong enough. I know that you lost your wife at sea. I command the goddess of the sea. She is bound to me by blood magic." "He is a traitor, and you know nothing good can come of blood magic. He unjustly subjugated his own people to his lies. Do not trust this snake, my friend," Sir Guy screamed. "I need an answer, knights. Are you lions or are you sheep? Snakes or mice? Sir Guy, what say you?" "Never," he replied. "I can never serve a traitor and a liar." "Well, a sheep it is then." The Duke's right hand went up, and it seemed that he was going into some kind of a trance. He closed his hand into a fist. The sea serpent swooped down and plucked Sir Guy off the ship. It made a blood-curdling, hissing, guttural sound as it swallowed Sir Guy whole. "What say you, Hammer?" The Hammer of the Gods knew what had to be done. There was no fear in his voice as he said, "I will fight for you under the condition that you bring back my wife from the dead." "You have lived up to your name, Sir Eric," said the Duke. He walked closer to the knight who was still kneeling, with swords from the terrified Norchester knights all around his neck. "Now you will swear a new oath to me as your master. This will be a blood oath." Sir Eric got on one knee, as is the custom. He had seen many times in battle how a headless man would sheath his sword after he had been killed, or even walk 1 or 2 paces, weapon lifted high. The body still follows the last impulses on command of the brain. As the Duke gave another step forward, the Hammer of the Gods made one last move. In one movement that looked like he was bowing down lower in honor, he grabbed the hilt of his hammer with a grip of steel in his right hand, like he had done thousands upon thousands of times before. He did not scream in rage or shout any insult. He swung his hammer in windmill-like fashion as he heaved himself to his feet, and by the time his captors realized what he was doing, it was too late. The now dead knight's hammer crushed the Duke's skull with a pop, like the sound of a bursting water skin. It was absolute pandemonium on the ship. The sea serpent screamed as if it was mortally wounded. Its massive head dropped onto the deck of the ship. Sir Guy was vomited back up, along with a fountain of blood, over the ship and onto the pier. The serpent was smashing the ship to splinters in its death throes. The Knights of Norchester knew they were doomed in full armor on a sinking ship. The thrashing sea monster was dragging them all to the dark depths. None survived that night except for Sir Guy. Cora the Brave and Eric the Hammer of the Gods both gave their lives for Panamore that night. There were still hard times for Norchester, but their mercenaries and dark armies now squabbled leaderless, and Sir Guy, with the help of Norchester citizens loyal to the crown, was able to negotiate a disbanding of all the mercenary armies, and peace ruled once again. The king ordered another investigation of Norchester, but this time it was with 5,000 of Panamore's finest knights. A new duke was sworn in, and any trace of Duke Pierre's dark magic was destroyed and his family line ended. Many were tried and beheaded for treason. 3 statues were erected in honor of Cora the Brave, Eric the Hammer, and Guy the Handsome, and they stand proud on the pier of Norchester Island to this very day. Do not be sad for Sir Eric or Cora. Even if the Duke of Norchester could bring back dead loved ones or give them untold power, it would have tainted their story. Power will fade, loved ones will die again, but all one has in the end is your story. If you enjoyed this tale, hit the bell notification. Follow me on Twitter for more stories, secrets, and surprises. I am the Duke of Deadfall. Done.